Well, hello there. My name's Lee Thurburn, and I am glad that you joined us again today on livestreamlee.com. Let me just adjust this just a little bit. Um, Thank you for coming back. It is 3 o'clock and we're going to get started. So today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite topics, which is marketing. And I think you're going to find this a really interesting and useful conversation that we're going to have about a subject that we all need to work at and get better at. Before I get started, I want to do a couple of things. First of all, I want to make sure that you know that you can go to livestreamlee.com and join the community. When you do that, you get an account on Apricot Rocket that is a powerful digital marketing tool set. It's a CRM, shopping cart, email marketing, text message marketing, lead generation. There's just a marketing automation. There's all kinds of cool things that you can do with this. This is a way for you to get new customers. We are a community building and relationship nurturing software platform. And we have just launched what we call our money back guarantee. I think most small businesses need one thing more than anything else, and that is more customers. And you need more customers, more profitable customers, better quality customers. But really it starts with you need more customers. And we can actually guarantee that. We've been using our technology and developing our technology, and we have confidence in our ability to offer a money back customer guarantee. Go to apricotrocket.com, create an account, go to Livestream join the community, go to apricotrocket.com to read about the money back guarantee. Bottom line is very few things in life come with a guarantee, and we can offer you one because we know that we can generate a customer for you. Now, before I go any farther, I want to tell you about a special guest that I've got coming on Friday of this week, Kent Billingsley. Kent Billingsley is the author of Entrepreneur to Millionaire. Mark Cuban doesn't normally endorse books, but Mark Cuban wrote an endorsement, a foreword for this book. And he said, it's a must read. I've been reading it. I'm about halfway through in preparation for my interview with Kent on Friday. And I got to tell you, I just love it. It is a fascinating work that really coincides with everything I try to tell and teach you here. And then I teach my students at UT Arlington. We're going to have a wonderful conversation with Kent. So I hope you'll come back on Friday of this week and listen to that conversation. It's going to be a lot of fun. I also want to tell you, one of the biggest problems that entrepreneurs have is you don't know what you don't know. And what you don't know can throw you for a loop and can kill your business. And so one of the ways I overcome the what I don't know, or, you get the idea. Well, one of the ways I overcome that is by surrounding myself with good quality people. And one of those people is Carlos Cantu, who is a commercial risk management agent with TWFG Insurance. Carlos is an exceptionally knowledgeable person about commercial business risk. And he's a great person to just know, but to chat with and all that kind of stuff, he can always come up with some interesting twists and ideas on how you can ensure the wealth that you're creating. One of the things you may not know is that the more successful you become, the more you become a target of people trying to steal your money through some sort of insurance-related or risk-related incident, and or maybe just simply through suing you. There's all kinds of things that can happen to take your money that you've worked so hard creating a business. Carlos can help you protect the asset that you're building. You should get to know Carlos. Go to livestreamlee.com. On the right-hand side, you'll see a link for Carlos Cantu. Click on that link and get to know Carlos. He is a great guy to get to know. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and jump into the conversation about marketing. And to do that, I've got a PowerPoint that has, I think, some stuff that you will be interested in hearing. So first of all, let's just ask the question, what is marketing? Because quite honestly, I think that can be a little bit confusing to a lot of people. So what is marketing? Well, I've got a working definition that has 3 parts, and I want to go through it because really all of these aspects of marketing are correct. First of all, marketing in general is the process of creating and delivering desired goods and services to customers. Everything that you do to create and deliver your goods and services to customers is part of the marketing process. Being a little bit more granular, marketing is the activities that are associated specifically with winning and retaining loyal customers. And loyal customers are important because they're the ones that allow you to make the most money. And then third, and this is a great, really succinct definition of marketing, marketing includes the activities of market research, advertising, selling, and customer support. Now, another way that you could say, could define marketing, or what marketing encompasses, is any and every person in your company that ever touches the customer in any way, shape, or form is carrying your brand with them. And they need to understand the gravity and importance of carrying your brand on their shoulders when they represent the customer. So everybody that interacts with the customer in any way, shape, or form is involved in marketing. Even to the extent that if you make things on an assembly line, the high quality product that you deliver is dependent upon the people on the assembly line understanding the importance of doing a great job of creating that product or service that you offer. And when I say assembly line, that could be a law practice where you have an assembly line and creating legal documents and opinions for clients, or it could be an assembly line where you're making cars or jet engines. It doesn't matter what it is. But it's important to understand the really 4 powerful sort of defined elements in the typical marketing sort of world are the market research, the advertising, the selling, and the customer support. So that's what we're going to focus our attention on as we go forward. Now, it's important to understand what advertising is. And we're going to come back to the market research stuff a little bit later, but it's important to understand what advertising is, because this is one of the biggest areas that people get confused. Marketing and advertising are 2 distinct things. Marketing encompasses a lot of things which advertising is one of. Advertising is not the same as sales or selling. Advertising has a reason, a purpose, and it is really primarily related to building an awareness, trust, and confidence in your company's ability to provide a solution to a problem. Now, these are incredibly important words, solution to a problem, because it really boils down to no company is ever going to survive if it doesn't solve a problem. The more successful companies have a powerful solution to an important problem that a lot of people have, and they are willing to pay for the solution to. We're going to circle around to all of that later, but marketing is really all about providing, advertising is really all about building awareness that your company provides a solution to a problem where the customer can have trust and confidence in your ability to deliver the solution in a timely fashion. Advertising's primary purpose is to generate a lead for the sales effort. Generate a lead for the sales effort. So really, advertising is primarily about lead generation. Now, we're going to talk a little bit more about this because it is not only lead generation. Advertising sets the context in which the consumer looks at and understands the value proposition that your company brings to the table. Actually, I'm going to back up just a second and talk about something I think is really important. We talked about the solution to a problem. People only do business with companies because they have a problem and they think a company can solve that problem. That's it. That's the only reason companies exist. That's the only reason people do business with companies, is because they have a problem that they're looking for a solution to. Now, those problems can be extremely sort of light or extremely heavy. For example, my problem might be that I'm hungry and I want Chinese today. So I'm going to look for a Chinese restaurant near where maybe I work, where I'm at. So I'm looking for a company that can satisfy a relatively simple problem. It might be that I need a jet engine to replace an engine that's broken down, or I might need a cure for mesothelioma. There are lots of problems out there, but companies only exist to solve problems. And so the single best way for you to communicate to a potential customer is through the paradigm of the problem, solution, benefit communication model. And I'm going to give you an incredibly short and fast example of what we're talking about. Problem, solution, benefit. Imagine 3 pictures. These are photographs. These are still shots of that are going to tell a story. And you're going to see the story and understand the power of the story instantly from the pictures. If I were to show them to you on screen, it would tell the story instantly. The first picture is a camera angle in a grade school or an elementary school lunchroom, angled down, and it's got a table with a girl at the table, and she has acne. She's by herself, and she's obviously feeling alone, maybe even lonely. And around that table, you can see other tables filled with young kids, all enjoying each other, having fun, but she's all by herself, and she's got a severe case of acne. The next camera shot is the same girl in front of a mirror in a bathroom applying an acne cream to her face. And the third shot is the same camera angle down, same table, same girl, but now she's got a clear complexion and she's surrounded by her friends and they're talking and laughing and having fun. Problem, solution, benefit. I have acne, I'm lonely. My solution, that's my problem. The solution is the cream that's being offered. The benefit is friendship and happiness. Problem, solution, benefit. When you can get your storytelling methodology down to a simple problem, solution, benefit statement that you can tell in an effective fashion, you're 90% of the way home, but you still have some other things to do. So advertising is all about generating a lead, but advertising is not the same as selling. Selling is the point in time when you separate the customer from their money. That's when you exchange money with a customer and they give you the money and you give them the service or the product. This is without a doubt the most critical step in the marketing cycle. And it is the point in time when you separate, when you actually have a transaction. The thing is, there are lots of reasons why people don't want to pay for something. That doesn't mean they want it free, but they hate giving up their money. Inevitably, if you give people permission and a way to delay the payment, unless they feel a sense of urgency to get your solution, they will almost inevitably delay. I used to sell cars for a car dealer. And there's in the car business, there's something called a B-back. And a B-back is a person that comes onto your lot and looks at the cars, all the cars you've got. And then after not being able to be nailed down or you being able to close them on a purchase, they end up leaving saying, don't worry, I'll be back. I just want to think about it. Well, about 95 to 99% of B-backs never come back. And the reason is they want to buy a car. People don't go shopping for cars unless they're ready to buy a car. They want to buy a car, but you haven't been able to convince them of the value proposition of your particular vehicle at that moment in time. So they're going to go look somewhere else until they find somebody that is able to convince them that the value proposition is right and they should buy that vehicle. 99 to 95 to 99% of the time, they're going to get sold a vehicle because you weren't able to successfully convey the value proposition. If you can't give people a solid reason to make a decision to do something now, a lot of times they will wait. And there's an acronym in business that basically says time kills deals. Now, it's also important for you to understand that the majority of people, even highly trained engineers looking for a highly technical product for their company, almost all people don't buy what they need. They buy what they want. And if you can quickly tap into the customer's desire and want for what you have as a solution without having to explain the features and the benefits to convert a need into a want, then you're going to be vastly more successful at closing deals and generating revenue. So focus on how to communicate the want. Try to sell something that people want. The closer that you can get to them being at the want stage when you talk to them, the faster the sales cycle process is going to go. Again, to some degree, if you can create a sense of urgency relative to the purchase decision process, you're typically going to have a faster sale cycle. People rarely today buy something that they can wait until tomorrow to purchase. Time kills deals. Now, it's also important to understand some psychological aspects of the selling process. And to do that, I've got 3 different graphs here. The first is what I call the circle of life diagram. This is a diagram that you're going to see in lots of different renditions with lots of different things put on it. But I think of it again as the circle of life diagram. And in this case, it's the purchase cycle. And the people enter the cycle typically at the top, where they begin to consider that they have a need. So they have a need, or maybe they have a want, but they're not quite sure what to do. So the steps in the process are they go from considering that they have a want or a need, go to do research to figure out what the best solution to their problem is. They consider they have a problem, now they need a solution, they start doing research. Somewhere in the research process, they come to a point where they make a decision and then they take an action. And after they make their purchase and take the action, the next thing is hopefully they're enjoying the benefit of their purchase. If in fact they are enjoying the benefit of their purchase, then there's going to be 2 different, not so much different paths, but 2 different cycles that occur. One is that they enjoy it so much that they make a referral to other people about the product or the service that they've enjoyed. And the other option is, and they can both run concurrent, is that they repeat the cycle. Now, when Which Wich Sandwich first entered the Addison area several years ago, probably 6-7 years ago, I kind of discovered them one day driving down Beltline. And I thought, oh, that's interesting. So I pulled in to see what the Which Wich sandwich joint offered. And it was right around the corner from my office. Well, you walk up to, you know what Which Wich is like. You walk up, you grab a sack that's, either turkey or chicken or beef, and you, on the outside of the sack, you fill in all the different ingredients. You want cranberries, you want pesto sauce. I mean, what do you want on it? So you decide what you want on it. Then you hand the sack, you pay, and then the sack goes down the line. They fix your sandwich, and at the other end, you get your sandwich. It was a really creative and different way of engaging the customer, and I love it. I could make all kinds of different sandwiches. And for about the first 2 weeks, I probably ate there almost every day. And then over the next month or two, I graduated to a couple times a week. And then finally, sort of the novelty wore off. But I repeated that process and I told people about it. I became an ambassador. I told people about it. I brought people in because it was such a cool thing. That's really what you want. You want people to, once they act and enjoy, you want them to both repeat and refer. If you can accomplish that, then you have made a home run. In fact, I think of it as the, oh, wow, holy cow, that's cool, I got to tell my friends about it phenomenon. This is the holy grail of marketing. When you can get to the point that your customers say, oh, wow, holy cow, that's cool, I got to go tell my friends about it, you have probably got $1 billion company. Think about Keurig. 20 years ago, the first time you ever saw a Keurig coffee maker. I remember somebody down the hall had a Keurig and they said, hey, come get a cup of coffee. I got something I want to show you. And I said, okay. And I went in and I was like, wow, this is cool. You can put a cup in. They got all these different flavors. I can pick one. I can make a cup of coffee. Bada bing, bada boom. It was done almost instantly. I had to get one. So I got one. I got about 3 of them. They kept breaking on me. My point, though, is that was a cool device. Well, that was such a cool device that it launched Keurig to the point where it was able to not only acquire Dr. Pepper and Snapple, but several other beverage companies, and it made the Keurig Dr. Pepper Snapple group what it is now, which is one of the major beverage distribution, production and distribution groups in the United States, all on the backs of the cool factor of, oh, wow, holy cow, this is cool. I got to tell my friends. So that's the holy grail that you're trying to achieve. The purchase cycle diagram describes, in some aspects, kind of the sequence of thought process steps that go through that. Now, there's another diagram that you see a lot, and that's the funnel. And you see the funnel in a lot of different ways, and it pretty much always kind of corresponds to cast a big net, pull it in, get some fish out, and then cast a net again. But it does serve a purpose. Generally speaking, with an undefined market. Now, this funnel is really more for 20th century rather than 21st century marketing, but it still to some degree applies today, especially to businesses that don't have a super hyper clear crystal clarity as to who their customer is. When you have a not well-defined customer that's hard for you to target, then the funnel approach works. And that is, you cast a wide net to build awareness. Then people consider the fact that you might have the solution. You convert them into a customer. Then you work on generating loyalty. And by the time they come out the bottom of the funnel as a customer, you hopefully have converted them into the point where they're an advocate, where they are a partner in your company trying to help you grow. And because they advocate, they get out and tell their friends, and that's the oh wow, holy cow factor. They get out and tell their friends to generate awareness and feed the system. Almost all businesses depend heavily on referrals. In fact, if your business doesn't get referrals, you're probably doing something wrong, because you really should. If you're providing a good service with a great value, then you should be getting referrals. But this is the purchase cycle funnel. And again, you'll see funnels a lot. This is a diagram that I particularly like because I think it really sort of tells the story of an actionable sequence of steps that you can engage in for your business. I think it's fair to say that nobody can buy from you. Nobody can buy from you until they know you exist. It simply can't be done. If they don't know you exist, they're not going to buy from you. So the first job of advertising is to generate consumer perception of your company. Now, simple fact is, people, you know a lot of companies that you don't do business with. You know a lot of restaurants you don't go eat at. You probably know 1,000 restaurants, certainly several hundred, and you don't go eat at them very often because you don't think of them. Where I used to have my office in Addison within about a 1.5 mile radius, I'll bet you there was 100 restaurants. But I probably ate at pretty much the same 10 most of the time. I could have told you pretty much where every one of them was, because as I'm driving around, I look at them, and as I go into them, I try them out, and then for whatever reason, I don't come back. Now, it is not my job as the consumer to remember the business. It's the business's job to make sure I remember them, to make sure that I stay at the top of their mind. So a business that doesn't have an active, continuing, top-of-mind awareness building modality or a program in place is going to suffer having to constantly go out and find new customers. So awareness is the first step, but top-of-mind awareness is critically important. For example, if I told you that I needed to know where I could get some information about Mickey Mouse, probably every one of you would go to Disney.com. Well, that's because Disney.com has probably the highest possible top-of-mind awareness score of any business on the planet. If it's not the top, it's right up there. Google, of course, would probably be higher, but you get the idea. They have spent a lot of time and a lot of money over a lot of years to generate a high top-of-mind awareness, but they haven't. Next, everybody wants to do business with an expert or an authority in the field. It's your job to become that expert in their mind. For example, I teach at UT Arlington, and I use this example. I like stories, and I like TV programs about science and the universe and rockets and stuff like that. So I like physics related and science related stuff. If I had the chance when I was a young student, if I had the chance at university to choose between Bob, the brilliant professor, and Albert Einstein on the other hand, or maybe Stephen Hawking on the other hand, who are you going to choose? You're going to choose Albert or Stephen every single time. Why? Because they are the pinnacle of recognition in their space as the ultimate penultimate expert on physics. Who wouldn't want to take Physics 101 from Albert Einstein or Stephen Hawking? Okay, so your job is to establish the same position of authority and expertise on your product or service in your customer's mind. Okay, there's a formula for how you do that. And then finally, you have to establish trust and confidence. I know a lot of people that do a good job that I would gladly refer, except that I can't trust them. They might, drink too much. They might have trouble getting up in the mornings. They're not reliable. They do a great job when you actually get a hold of them at a good point in time, but you can't depend on them. You need to be dependable. You need to establish a perception in your customer's mind that they can trust you and have confidence in your ability to solve their problem. You're only going to get a customer when you satisfy those 4 steps. You have to have awareness and top of mind awareness, and it has to be a positive top of mind awareness. You have to be perceived as an expert or an authority in your business that they can trust with confidence to solve the problem when and how you say, so that you deliver on time. Then and only then will you get the sale. Now, if you've got a sale that's as simple as like mowing your lawn or changing your oil or getting an ink and toner cartridge, that's an easy sell to get. If you have a more complicated sale, you've got to go through each one of those steps. For an oil change or something like that, you can go through the first 4 steps very quickly. But for a legal matter or a complex, accounting issue or a business growth issue, you need to have more time to establish these things. But it doesn't really matter. You've got to go through all 4 steps before you get the sale. The next thing is to look at the ways in which you can build awareness. Now, we live in the 21st century, but there's still a lot of 20th century technologies that are important to understand. 20th century technologies, the things I think of as your traditional media, comprise of television, radio, print media, direct mail, and the signs, these kinds of things. And other than exhibits and expos, the hallmark, common characteristic of these traditional media is unidirectionality. In other words, you sit there and they get in front of you. You might call it interruption marketing, but I'm watching a TV program and you put an ad on that program because you think it'll reach the kind of person that you want to reach. Same thing with radio or print media. I'm flipping through a newspaper or a magazine and I'm going to see your ad. These are all one directional. For the most part, they are not bi-directional. And that means they have a certain place. For example, direct mail, very, very affordable, easily targeted sort of thing, but you've got to get them to open it. There's all, and once they open it, they can't immediately engage with you. Now they can find your website, they can get your phone number, they can pick up the phone, they can go to your website. So there is some degree of interaction there, but it's not directly through the media in a real-time fashion. So these are old traditional media, unidirectional marketing technologies. You know what? We're out of time. So what we're going to do is we're going to continue this series. I have laid out a variety of different topics, but you know what? I think to be able to do justice of understanding how everything fits together, we're probably going to need more than 3 days. So tomorrow I'm going to pick up here and I'm going to continue, and we're going to get really deep and dirty, down and dirty in terms of specifics. But I do want to again tell you, come back on Friday, because the marketing paradigms that I'm going to put out for you, we're going to talk about how these fit into the 21st century, which is what Kent Billingsley is really good at describing. So before I leave, I want to also tell you about a storyteller. I told you about the story of problem, solution, benefit. Well, I'm a fan of stories, especially historical stories. And there's a friend of mine named Dan Nelson, who is a master storyteller. He's a genealogist. Now, this guy sends out a newsletter every couple of weeks that I look forward to, because there's always some tidbits, some trivia, some interesting historical data that I just find fascinating. Recently, he sent out a newsletter that explained why nobody heard the gunshot that killed Lincoln in the Ford Theater. And the reason is because there was a huge laughter going on at a joke. Well, how did the gunman know that there was going to be a joke so he'd know when to fire? He knew because he was a thespian, John Wilkes Booth. He was actually an actor, and he knew what the joke was going to be. He knew what the reaction to the joke would be, and he knew exactly when the big boom of laughter would occur where he could get a shot off and not be noticed. Do you know what the joke was? It wasn't even funny, at least not to our sensibilities. That's the kind of stuff that you learn from Dan's newsletter. Really good reads. Go to livestreamlee.com, click on the Dan Nelson link, sign up for his newsletter if you like that kind of stuff. Just check it out. It's good. It's good stuff. So come back tomorrow. We're going to continue our conversation where we're talking about 21st century marketing instead of the 20th century. I'm actually going to show you some interactive magazines that literally have interactive technology. Have you ever seen that before? I think you're going to find this interesting. The world is beginning to look like Harry Potter's magazines. Okay, so we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for your time today. Bye.